Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we proudly present our spectacular show of podcast magic and imagination full of Disney wonder, news, and pop culture. It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast with Jenn Dave and David Dollar.
Hey, Jen.
Hey, Dave.
It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast. Episode 101.
Ooh, like Dalmatians?
Right, 101 Dalmatians.
Mm-hmm.
And here, okay, so here's the quiz, Jen. Can you name all of them? Start.
All 100. Yeah, hang on. Lucky, Patch, Penny. I got 3.
Okay, well, that's farther than I could get.
Pongo, Perdita.
Let's see. Benji, Bolt, Rin Tin Tin, Hooch,
Lassie.
Lassie. So, apparently, and I don't know this for a fact, and you wouldn't know this either because you're not even sure this place exists, but apparently in the 101 Dalmatians section of All-Star Movies, there are 101 spots around the buildings. Like if you go through and count all the spots on the buildings, there are 101 spots. Not that, again, you would ever verify that. Because I'm not even sure if I said, Jen, I'll give you a free night at the Polynesian. If you go find All-Star Movies, you would even know where that is. You'd be like, is that in Flamingo Crossings? Is that
a hotel? Is this a hotel? Like
is it Icon Park? Because I don't want to go there. That's bad. A lot going on, of course, in the world of Disney. We got so much to talk about. We'll get there, though. So, Jen, first, how did you Disney this week?
Oh, gosh. How did I Disney this week? It's funny how, like, some days I know exactly how I Disney this week. Mm-hmm. I booked my airfare for the Guardians of the Galaxy media preview.
That's so exciting.
So fun. And for the Disney Wish pre-inaugural sailing.
Nice.
So I had to do stuff surrounding those reservations.
Right.
I'm confirmed that I'm attending, but then I was like, oh, I should probably, get airfare. So I did that.
Love it. Yeah. Speaking of booking, I did my own little booking because next week, of course, I'm going to Disneyland on a trip for a couple of days. I get to see the Main Street Electrical podcast. Not just podcast, but the parade as well. So we should do a live podcast from there. That'd be great. Main Street Electrical Parade and the brand new finale they've got going on. And of course, they've got Encanto now on Small World. They're doing the projection show there, which is exciting. I get to see the fireworks and everything, the world of color. Still don't get to see Paint the Night because it's not brought back yet. What the heck? But we're done on the 30th, which is kind of the end of the official trip that we're on. And so Steph and I were like, well, why don't we stay the night, an extra night, and fly home? Because the flights are better on Sunday.
Absolutely.
So let's fly home on Sunday. And, of course, she's looking around. I'm looking at Good Neighbor Hotels. I've stayed at the Anaheim Inn. I'm like, what about the Best Western Plus? Because it's right across the street. And she's like, well, the Marriott's down the road. And I'm like, what if we looked at the Disneyland Hotel? And she was like, ooh, that's an idea. And so, of course, being a travel agent, we do get some special rates sometimes. I was able to look, and I was like, well, here's the price, which wasn't what we were hoping for, but at the same time, it wasn't much more than we would spend at a Marriott, honestly.
Sure.
For full price or even using points. And so we booked ourselves a night at the Disneyland Hotel. So we will go from 2 nights at the Grand Californian to a night at Disneyland. I've been there twice. She's never been to Disneyland. She's never been to either hotel. She's been through there, but she's never stayed there. Them. So she's gonna love it. I'm like, you are so bougie. I said, Jen is gonna be so proud of you.
I am.
And she's like, I know, right? Of course, she wore a hat to Easter service this week, and that was why I sent you the video. I'm like, look, Jen, she's wearing a hat. And she
oh my gosh, and she was the cutest thing ever.
She's so great.
Like that hat was adorable. She was adorable in the hat, like straight up. She's such a good little protege.
Right? She really is. She really is. And I made the joke a couple of times about how the two of you get together and go bougie shopping. And she's like, our budget can't take that. I was like, I don't know that her budget can't either.
Listen,
but it doesn't mean she won't do it.
I will talk her right into absolutely everything. She does not. People don't go shopping with me and come back without spending money. I'm sorry. It's just
right. Right. Yeah, well, we did find out, and of course, we talked about this earlier. We did find out that there is a Royal Caribbean cruise that goes around the world.
There is
274 nights. I don't really know the logistics of how it works, but I do know it's a couple $100,000 to book the cruise for 274 nights.
It's basically several cruises back to back to back to back to back, but they have it as an itinerary, and you stay in the same cabin.
Right.
But like other people will switch out. You know?
Right. That's what we figured because I can't imagine being on one cruise without docking that long.
Yeah,
all 7 continents, including Antarctica, which is awesome. But I was like, if I booked that for any travel people, the commission on that would definitely be enough to send Jen and Steph on a shopping spree. Almost. Maybe a night at the Grand Floridian, one night if possible. So, a lot to talk about. Let's get to some news. Okay, Jen, the big news, of course, no more masks.
I mean, this is the announcement that so many people, and I know that there are some people who are upset about that part, and absolutely, you're right. But there are a lot of people who were just waiting for this.
Yes, I was excited. I saw video of bus drivers on Disney buses announcing they just released it, blah blah blah. And so people holding the masks off and stuff. And I won't go through this side or that side about the mask and stuff. I will say I am excited to not have to wear them on the buses and on transportation and on airplanes. Which
not having it on the monorail is going to be amazing.
Yes. I love going on the monorail the midday when there's nobody in the monorail car. You just take it off. You're like,
if you're the only one in the car.
You see somebody get on and you put it back on and you're kind of looking at them and they're looking at you and it's like, take yours off.
Are we?
I do. What about you?
No.
Okay, good. Take them off.
Yeah. It's almost like the Skyliner. Even when they were recorded, the Skyliner, everyone's like, we're the only ones in here. Oh.
Exactly. Pretty much take them off. And I was like, I don't have cameras in here, do they? Maybe they do. But
I know, right?
I don't know. Anyway, so the masks are done. And also, folks, wear them if you feel comfortable wearing them.
Absolutely.
If you want to wear them, please
Nobody will make fun of you. Nobody will stop you.
This is not a no mask mandate. This is a existing mandates for masks have been removed. So now anywhere on property, you don't have to wear masks, but you are welcome to. If you want to, you can wear your safety goggles on Soarin' if you'd like, but make sure you take off the ears, those little beauties, put them under the seats.
Absolutely. But safety goggles are allowed on Soarin'. They always aviator glasses, 100%. Yes,
I want to do that. I want to dress up like that one
Brady
time
has them.
And wear the
Brady
goggles
has the
and the hat and every.
He has the hat and the goggles because they sold them way back when in Disneyland. We bought them, I think, in 2014 or 2016. Oh yeah.
I would wear those on Soarin'. I would totally wear
them. He absolutely has them. He's worn them in the park as a Halloween costume.
And then put the goggles on as you're flying through and just, that would be so great.
Yeah, he has them.
Awesome. Salt and Straw has opened at Disney Springs. I am super duper excited about this because they've got a very, very unique menu. In addition to classic flavors, they've got double fold vanilla and chocolate gooey brownie and honey lavender, which is heaps of fragrant lavender petals to make a syrup, then infusing it into cream, bringing out a smoky lilac hue and a floral punch. Followed by a sweet touch of honey on your tongue, guava and cheese donut, and a bunch of other random flavors as well. And I'm excited about this because they switched the flavors in and out. And I had was it a goat cheese and olive?
You got goat cheese and olive, which
was
I
so
was like, good. But I don't like olives, so I wouldn't like that one.
It was so good.
I would.
But I'm really excited. We're talking about doing this as a group when we're in Epcot in June after our Universal going on there. They have seasonal flavors too. The ice cream of Moo, a 10-year-old developed this silky chocolate ice cream with a touch of salt, studded with clusters of candied caramel cashews and hunks of maraschino cherry laced chocolate ganache.
Wow.
What? I'm in.
Wow.
I'm in. So
so I watched the other thing I Disney this week was I watched the Jeff Goldblum series. We watched the one about ice cream
on National Geographic on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
The World According to Jeff Goldblum.
That's it. Yep. We watched the ice cream one and they talked about Salt and Straw.
Oh,
yeah, I don't know if you've seen that one. Yeah,
I have not. I have not. It's but it is a very unusual restaurant. It's not your average popsicles. These popsicles are but
good.
Like $8 a piece, or these scoops are like $7 to $8 a piece, whatever. You can get a flight.
But they're like super gourmet.
Yeah, they're super duper gourmet. I mean, they're really, really exotic. My favorite here that I want to try is the Adventurous Llama Nut, invented by a 7-year-old kid named Asher. It's pink and blue marshmallow, Milky Way fluff, glistening against a purpley pitch dark cherry ice cream.
Oh my!
I'm in.
Oh my!
So, one place, however, you can't get ice cream or anything else at this time is Starbucks in Epcot because right now it's closed. The Travelers Cafe, whatever they called it, over there in the corner,
it was like
towards Royal Showcase, taking you right towards Canada.
Yep.
It was there for a while because they closed the regular one they had
up by the fountain, by the
Fountain View.
Right,
yeah,
it was by the Fountain View. Yeah.
They closed it because they wanted to, I mean, at the time, there was no COVID, so they closed that, opened up a temporary one down there to work on the new one. Well, they have closed this one, I'm assuming, so they can start moving all that stuff to the Connections Cafe, which is where it's going to be.
I think so. And so it'll probably only be down a couple weeks, I'm assuming, because, but listen, you can still get Joffrey's, people. So it's okay. We still got Joffrey's. We can still get coffee in Epcot. It's okay.
Joffrey's. Another big thing happening this week is the Guardians of the Galaxy playlist has been released, and apparently there is going to be a six song playlist going on there, and you don't know which song you're going to get. So it's like you get one song per attraction, basically. It's almost like a little like Star Wars Star Tours, where you don't exactly know which one you're going to get, which scenario you're going to get. You're just going to get one. Same thing, 6 songs included. So here is the full list of songs featuring the Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind attraction. This awesome mix, quote unquote, awesome mix of songs is including September by Earth, Wind, and Fire, Disco Inferno by the Tramps, Conga by the Miami Sound Machine, Everybody Wants to Rule the World by Tears for Fears, I Ran by Flock of Seagulls, and One Way or Another by Blondie, which, by the way, I love most of these songs.
Basically
I Ran, I'm iffy on. Disco Inferno, okay on. The other 4, I'm all in.
Listen, I'm in on all of these, honestly. The I Ran, I'm going to go with you. Like, I like it. It's fine.
Right.
It's probably my least favorite of the 6, but I'm in.
According to Disney Imagineer Zach Ridley, they basically tried out hundreds of songs for this. So the Imagineers would ride this thing hundreds of times with different songs playing to get the best feel for it. And I'm sure it's not like 1 or 2 guys. I'm sure there was a team or whatever, but they were taking notes on stuff, which songs fit the ride the best.
Sure.
And so, you'll have to let us know which song you get. And honestly, I feel like there's going to be a mental playlist in my head of which one I get every time I
really want September. I just really love that song.
It might take me 4 years to get all of them based on how long
I don't care, but I want to get them all.
But that would be awesome. So Guardians playlist is out. I have a question for you. What do you think is going to happen to the Tarzan treehouse in Disneyland? It is closing.
It is.
And they're going to retheme it. They have said they're not removing it. They're going to completely retheme it. I've heard some rumors, but I want to know what you think might happen and what they're going to put in there that might
Honestly, I've actually been, I have been thinking about this a little bit. When I saw the headline, I was like, oh, so what are they changing it to? So I started scrolling and I'm in my head like, what on earth? And I'm trying to think recent IP, right? Because like Tarzan made sense because there's a tree.
Right, of course. So his Family Robinson made sense at Disney World because it's a tree.
Correct. I mean, like with his grandmother Willow and Pocahontas, but I don't feel like that is like new enough IP. Does that make sense? Like, because
nobody cares about Pocahontas,
right? Like, because like right now, like that's not one that people are like, oh, I want to go, whatever.
Right.
Like,
right.
So I really don't know. I cannot think what it is.
What I'm hearing is Encanto. An Encanto themed kind of tree, because it is the family magical with the house and the trees and whatever like that. I'm here now. This is a rumor.
It's a rumor. I mean, but it could be.
The Bob has not called either one of us. The Josh has not called us, nor has the Zach. And I don't even know who does stuff out there.
I was like, I don't think it's any of those
at Disney World, whatever. But we've not heard from anybody. Nope. Or at least we haven't answered their calls because we've been busy. Come on, Jen, we're busy.
I mean, because of course we ignore their phone calls. Obviously.
Exactly. So that's the rumor, and I'm kind of wondering what people think about that. I would love to hear from people as to whether they think that's going to actually work or not. So who knows?
I mean, I'm not going to say it can't work. We'll see.
It might work. So here's the final bit of news here as we kind of jump into what we're going to talk about, kind of in our main little segment, as we say. Character hugs are back.
They are back.
Character meet and greets are back. As of the 18th of April, you can now run up to your favorite character and give them big fat hugs. And I've been watching videos from different things because I was kind of unclear as I know you could go stand in next to Mickey. I know you could go stand next to Donald.
Yeah, you could be near them.
Next to the face characters. Could you stand next to Cinderella? Will Donald come to your table at Tusker House? Turns out the answer to all those questions is yes. I've seen the videos. I've saw the video where all the characters are going to the tables in Topolino's. Donald's leaning on the table talking to a little boy. I saw the characters where like one girl runs up and gives Tiana a hug. It's there. It's exciting. I'm really excited about that. But so I do want to talk about our favorite character meet and greets because this is kind of exciting.
Yeah.
But I do want to mention this, and I found this on themeparkinsider.com. There are some tips for meeting your favorite characters. And I think these are kind of important things to remember. I'm not going to read them word for word, but kind of some things to remember. First of all, wait your turn.
Yes.
Get in line. And a lot of them now have long lines, like at the front of the parks, at the hub at Disney World. You go there, there's Donald, there's Mary Poppins, there's Pinocchio, you get in line, whatever. Some of them now have the way they're set up is they will take in a few families at a time. So it's not just this long line of people in there. It's like one or two families at a time waiting your turn. If you don't immediately see people in front of the character, give it a second, look around, observe before you just immediately jump in because they could be setting up a shot. They could be having a small child who's trying to coax into the shot or whatever. So don't just jump in there. Second thing, if a character it has to go take a break, Pooh needs some honey, maybe Mickey wants to go catch some cheese, maybe Cinderella needs to go check on
her makeup,
Jacques and Gus, whatever. It's okay. Don't get mad. They're going to come back. They're going to come back. Characters do need a few breaks here and there. So if the character stops you, a cast member stops you and says, "Hey, wait right here. They're going to be back in 10 minutes." Mm-hmm. Don't be like, "But please, sir, my orphan child, he only has a few minutes to live. Please let him meet Pinocchio before he dies." No, just give it to 10 minutes.
Just hang on. They'll be there. It's cool.
If there is a problem, talk to the cast member. Maybe they can work something out. Have your cameras ready. Your autograph books ready, which they're doing autographs again. Have your pens ready. This also helps move the line, but also it gives your family more time because you may only have 90 seconds with that character, and you want that 90 seconds with your children or your family or whoever with the characters versus half of that going, hold on, let me get my camera ready. It keeps turning off. Hold on. Let me scroll through your phone, whatever. Oh, no,
and if you have Memory Maker, don't even worry about your camera.
Yeah, exactly.
In many cases, I can't say all cases, in many cases, there's a Memory Maker photographer there. Snap pictures.
Exactly. Remember that the characters, especially our furry friends, have a limited field of vision. So kind of stay in front of them. Don't come to the side. Don't come to the back. Try to be there. If they're not seeing you, say, "Hey, Mickey," and they'll look at you or whatever, but kind of be right there in the front, trying to stay in their field of vision. Notice the character cues. This is more for the adults than the kids, but watch the character cues. Watch the body language of the characters. The helpers, those cast members who know these characters very well, have a great idea of where you should go, what you should do, and how to act on certain things. So help them out by, if they're asking, maybe they're gesturing you to stay over here. If they're wanting you to stay in a certain place and move your hands a certain way, go ahead and do it. It's okay. Be polite to your characters.
Yes.
Don't be rude. Don't be demanding. Be polite. And make sure you direct your children, your small children especially. I mean, yes, it's okay for them to run up and hug Mickey, but you might need to pull them back from Mickey after a second or two. Yes, you've had your hug. Okay, whatever, because the other thing, too, is to go ahead and train your children for the large characters. One great way to do this is to find places like Chick-fil-A and places like that have characters that randomly will come out. Find out how your small 3-year-old will do with a Chick-fil-A cow. Because if your 3-year-old freaks out at the Chick-fil-A cow, there's a good chance your 3-year-old's going to freak out at Eeyore. So, go ahead and train your kid to be ready for that. Be very careful when hugging your characters and your furry friends, especially, and your face characters. When you hug them, that's great. They want hugs and everything. Be careful about how you grab them. Be careful about how you hug them. Don't let your kids do a flying hug in. Don't be like, I'm going to run and run. I'm going to leave the ground about 3 feet to 5 feet before I hit Mickey. No. Just be careful. High fives are fine. Put your hands up and everything. Be observant of your kids. One example of this, we were at Garden Grill. Mickey came around, and Campbell was probably maybe 2. Still kind of getting the feel for what's going on here.
Yeah.
He kept reaching up and trying to grab Mickey's nose. Would try to grab it, and not just grab it, but pull it, which you don't want to do. So that happened once, and we were very careful about. I'm sorry about that, Mickey. Mickey's like, it's okay, basically. So just be careful about that. And the final thing I'll add in here, and if you have any other things to throw in, please do. Final thing I add is, and this is really for the adults too, especially for the adults. Be careful about your hands. Sometimes you'll put your arm around a princess and you'll not realize where you're putting your hand. And it's okay if you just be conscious. Oh, okay, let me put my hand maybe on the top of the back here versus around the waist. Be careful about where your hands go, that kind of thing. I had this happen with Joy and Sadness. I actually put my arms around them, and I realized, my hand. Joy is rather small. My arm is going all the way around Joy. I'm going to make sure that I'm not enjoying her joy. Let me just,
you're just making sure that you're being appropriate.
Exactly. And it happens, and I'm sure they understand. Oh, careful. I get that. But honestly, if you're somebody who decides to get to grope a character, you should kick out of the park immediately, because that's assault. That's assault.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a difference in a half second. Oh, I'm so sorry. Whatever.
Yeah, or like your little 3-year-old runs up.
And your 3-year-old gets too excited.
They get excited, and a 3-year-old has no idea.
My 10-year-old is just tall enough that if he hugs Rapunzel from the right way, he might get tangled in the towers, and that's just bad. And so we're going to be conscious of him. Let's stand by, that kind of thing. So yeah. So there's anything else I might have missed with the characters that
no,
things to
and
think
I just
about.
And I love to interact with the characters as well. Especially if you can have a conversation, for example, like with Gaston, play up to it, but don't be disrespectful. Totally enjoy whatever. We've seen the push-up contest, what that was viral for a while with that little kid Gaston. That was hilarious.
Yep.
But don't be a jerk. Be a good person.
Follow the cues. And honestly, let's be honest. Sometimes the character interactions just aren't fair because Genie will be there and he might give the family ahead of you a ton. He might play with the kids for like 5 minutes, holding the whole lineup. He gets to you. It's a hug. It's a smile. It's a cute little thing. And then you're done in a minute. And you're like, where's my 5 minutes of joy? Sometimes it happens.
But you just don't know why. You don't know what that family had. There may have been a reason.
Yep.
Yeah.
We had that because we had Chip and Dale, and Chip, the kid was asleep. We weren't going to pull him out of the stroller, so we had him off to the side. While Stephanie and I were meeting Chip and Dale, Dale walks over, sticks his head down, and looks at Campbell, who's completely asleep, motions over to Chip, who comes over completely asleep. Of course, we were taking pictures, and they grab the stroller and start pushing it away, like walking away with the stroller, pushing it away, And of course, we can't be like, Chip, Dale, these families are waiting. We're going to let the characters do what they do.
100%.
But we probably took 3 or 4 minutes, and I know there were families going, what the heck? We're on the time frame here, people. And I'm like, I'm Chip and Dale, sorry. And it was great. It was great magic for us. But we've also been on the other end of that, watching Mickey do a lot with a child or whatever. We get up there and we're like, hey, aren't you going to take our kid by the hand and go skipping? You're not? Okay. Take a picture. Yay.
But it's but when you get those moments, they're really special.
Yes,
so you never expect them, but they're really cool when they happen. Or even when you're watching them with other people. I love watching, like, oh my gosh, that's so cute. Like, that's going to be such a great memory.
And going back to what we said, that's why it's important to have your autograph book and your cameras and everything ready, because especially with the whole setup they've got now where you go in there just a couple of families at a time, that 2 minutes you have, that is your time. That is your time, and nobody's going to interrupt that. Nobody's going to bother that. That is your time to be in front of Rapunzel, to talk to her, to take pictures or whatever. So have it ready to go. I mean, like you said, with the cast members, with the photogs being there, if they're there, they're not always there, but if they are, let them take pictures. Enjoy your moments with those characters, because once your moments is over, you're gone. You got to wait in line again. So we're going to talk a little bit about characters that we enjoy meeting. We have come up with our own personal top 5 character interactions, top 5 character meet and greets in our courses of histories. Now, of course, Jen and Brady will want to have a different list than we will, obviously, because we have a child involved. So the kid does factor into one of these. And so I just thought it would be kind of fun to talk and tell our own little stories. And for the folks who've listened to all 100 episodes, which hey Melissa, thank you. We know that many of you have, which is exciting. Some of these stories you may have heard before. Just go with it. It's okay. So, Jen, I have ranked mine. I don't know if you've ranked yours or not.
Okay. I can rank mine.
But it's up to you. If you just want to toss that, here's one of my 5. I have my 5 through 1, but why don't you go ahead and kick it off?
All right. So I'm going to kick it off with, this is a Run Disney meet. So if you have done Run Disney, you know that you want to have a good enough time that you're in a far enough up ahead corral that you can keep up your 16-minute mile, even if stopping for character pictures, which I love.
Quick question. I do have a question before you go on. Yes. With the corrals, is that just random, or do you have to sign up a certain
You have to submit your times.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, you have to submit your times, and they will put you in a corral based on your time, like your qualifying time.
Get an earlier corral. Okay.
So
I'm working on Princess for next February. I need to make sure I know what to sign up for.
Yeah. So you have to run some sort of an official race and submit your time. So there you go. So we always we like to be right in the middle of the pack. I don't want to be an early corral. I don't want to be a late corral. I just want to be right in the middle. And so, one of the half marathons, I was, and I'll bypass characters that I've gotten before or whatever. My role with the character meets on Run Disney is I'm going to stop if this is a unique opportunity and if the line's not crazy. The one, we were somewhere backstage. I want to say it was near Magic Kingdom, because we'd already run through Magic Kingdom. I think it was backstage area. And there was the float. It had a rainbow, and it was a Peter Pan themed float. And it was Tinkerbell and Peter Pan and the Lost Boys.
That is awesome.
All of them.
That is
on the
so
float.
Cool.
And I was Brady looks at me. He's like, oh, you're getting that. And I was 100% I'm getting that one. I'm absolutely wait. And he'll sort of run up ahead. And he'll just wait on me.
That is so
100%.
Fantastic. Oh,
it was
I love it.
Freaking amazing. Because when do you see that? You see Peter Pan in the parks, you see Tinkerbell in the parks. When do you see the Lost Boys? Never.
Oh, that's great. I think that's really cool, and I love the fact that when Disney has the special characters, because you get to see characters you don't normally get to see, which to me is awesome, which is really, really cool. So, my number 5, and Stephanie reminded me of this. I think this is kind of her favorite but also this is without the child, so also I'm wondering if maybe she didn't remember some of the other ones. But this is a case also where the character gave us a pun and ignored the people behind us. We were on a trip in 2009. We'd been married 5 years. We actually took some friends of ours with us. I had just started working at the Disney store as a manager. I got 4 free passes versus just 1 or 2. Okay. And so, like, I had passes for everybody. I mean, we were able to go. So, and I kind of saved them up and stuff. So we took some friends of ours, the 4 of us that went. We all stayed at Pop Century. I know you don't know where that is. It's a value, Jen, but we were all actually in line to meet Beauty and the Beast. And this is at the time, Beauty and the Beast. They were together at this. This is like 2009. This is before Be Our Guest, before New Fantasyland. And so we got in line to meet Beauty and the Beast. Steph and I got up there for Belle. And we had this incredible conversation. Belle was talking about her beast, and she was looking at me going, I see that you brought your beast. Blah, blah, blah. And just Steph and Belle just talk for like 3 or 4 minutes, like she was talking to you, just open chatting about my beast does this, and I love my beast, but he drives me. Oh, I understand. My beast drives me nuts too. He leaves the doors open, turns the lights on, blah blah blah, and just all in character, obviously. So it was wonderful. It was great. It was a lot of fun to watch, and just it was a lot of fun. It was really, really fun to have that happen. Cool. So Belle and Beast are probably my number 5. So Jen, number 4 or the second one on your list, however you want to phrase it.
Okay. Well, this is so tough. I'm gonna go with Cape May, back when it had characters at breakfast, and we don't know, they might be bringing it back. Right. Okay, so pre-COVID, Cape May Cafe had it was breakfast buffet with characters. Yep. They have not even brought back breakfast I don't think they've even brought back breakfast, but if so, it's definitely not with characters. Right. I know that much. So they had typically, like all in their surf theme. It was like Minnie and Donald and Goofy, and they'd walk around. I've had some of the best character interactions there. For a while, in fact, my Facebook, not my profile picture, but my banner at the top was me sitting down doing a cheers with coffee mugs with Minnie Mouse. Because she sat down in the booth with me. We were sitting there, like just having a little conversation. She grabbed Brady's coffee mug, and we're like just sitting there. It was so wonderful. And then Donald came around, and this might have been the same trip. Hysterical. We have a picture. He wouldn't turn his face to the camera. He just had his butt in the middle. Like it was just, to this day, one of my favorite character interactions of all times. Like
that is hilarious. I love it. I love that. So, number 4 on my list, favorite character interactions. And again, this is a character we never see. We never see Genie in the park anymore. No, so rare. Again, we're in Epcot. This is where we saw Belle and Beast. Actually, we saw Aladdin and Jasmine, and Genie was there. And this, I want to say, this might have been on our honeymoon. This may be on 04. So this has been a long time. Maybe 07, something like that. They all run together. But we were in line. We met Genie. We met Jasmine. We met Aladdin. Great, awesome, whatever. And of course, we had our buttons on. It was either anniversary trip or it was or honeymoon, whatever. And so Genie grabs Stephanie and hugs her, and just hugs her, and hugs her, and holds her, and like we're talking over a minute. Does not move, just hugs. I'm not even sure he could do that now. Like in this environment,
maybe not now, but
maybe not now. And I was laughing and everything. And as I walk up to get a picture, he literally puts his hand out and pushes me back, like get away, and then hugs her again, and just holds on. And it was so. And she's just like she's wrapped up and she's like laughing, and she's like laughing hysterically because she can't not. And of course she's like, "What do I do? This is so odd. This is so weird." I mean, it's just like it was so much fun. And again, I'm not sure he could do that ever again, but we probably were there for 3 minutes, and probably a minute and a half of that was just him one solid embrace and just hug. We've got a picture of it somewhere where his hug and her head's just kind of sticking out of his arms, like grinning, like it's love it. And I love characters that give you a lot.
Yes,
Mad Hatter is like this. Every time I've seen Genie, he's like this. There's a couple of characters that, yes, you can meet Rapunzel, and actually Rapunzel's like this too. But you can meet Snow White or whatever, and she'll smile with you. Oh, it's so great to see you. Blah blah blah. Your prince. Blah blah blah. Whatever. And then she's on. And there are certain characters that I feel like every time they're going to give you something extra. They're going to go in. They're going to go. Mad Hatter is something at Supercalifragilistic at 1900 Park Fair when they had characters. Would go all in on every character encounter was just like, I'm talking to you now, blah, 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 just all over the place. By the way, Cape May Cafe is open for breakfast. They do.
It is
now,
but no characters.
No characters. You can tell there's no characters because breakfast for adults there is only $25 at Disney.
Oh yeah, that's why.
So no characters. Otherwise, it'll be like $53. So.
Well, I knew there was no characters, but then I was about to say, well, breakfast is back, and then I was like, wait, but is breakfast back?
Breakfast is back, just no Mickey there.
Yeah.
So 3 on your list. You're third.
Okay, 3 on my list. Oh gosh, it's like this is actually really hard for me because I'm gonna have some honorable mentions. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you I'm gonna have honorable mentions.
Yeah, I have honorable mentions too.
Yeah. This is gonna be 1900 Park Fair, which again is not reopened yet. I can't imagine it's not going to. Right. The space is there, but. And in the past,
that's really popular.
It's a really popular one. Yeah,
that's a great way to put people.
Exactly. And for breakfast, it was different characters than dinner. Okay, so I mean, who knows if / when it comes back?
Cinderella's Royal Gala for a while.
Right, but for breakfast,
right?
I loved the breakfast characters.
Mary
and then you
Poppins,
get Pooh and Tigger because we're great.
Alice and Mad Hatter.
And Mary Poppins to me is like my favorite. Straight up Disney character. Love Mary Poppins. Yep. So I always just want to cry when I meet her because I'm like, she's just practically perfect. Like, she's Mary Poppins and I love her. So, but then also you have, at the same time, Mad Hatter, who is hysterical. Absolutely some of the funniest interactions and funniest photos. I think he's great. And you mentioned him earlier. He's a great character meet.
Yeah, he is fun. Stitch is also a lot of fun too.
That's true.
We have, and this is not even my number 3, but like every time I would always carry a Stitch pin with me in case we're able to meet Stitch. Now we can meet him again.
Right.
Just in case, I will put a Stitch pin on as I get in the line to meet Stitch. Because he's looked at my pins before and he's like, no Stitch. And there's a Stitch and he's like pointing out to her or whatever. And there's no Stitch on mine. And I'm even like, well, Stitch, my wife made me take my Stitch pins off because she didn't want to be shown up. And of course, it's fun. It's great. So number 3 on my list here, and this is again going back to, I want to say this is 07, 08, something like that. Cars had just come out.
Okay.
And right now, when I tell you this story at the time, it's gonna be like, you got that excited over that? But we had heard at Hollywood Studios that Lightning McQueen and Mater were gonna be out. And we had never met them. We didn't know anybody who had met them. It was a brand new thing and we had no idea what was going to happen. We had no clue how it was going to roll. And so at the streets of America, we're standing there, we're waiting, and we hear the around the corner, and here comes slowly rolling up the street is rolling Lightning McQueen and Tow Mater in their full form. And again, 15 years later, we're like, oh, it's pretty cool, whatever. At the time, Stephanie and I were wigging out. Like we were children. We were like, that is Lightning McQueen and that is Mater. And we were it was incredible. It really was. And it was like, I think for me, it was almost like we were seeing Cars characters, not face characters, not furry characters, not the animal. We're seeing actual cars rolling through the streets of America, and now we get meet and greets, and we have pictures where we met Lightning McQueen, and the mouth didn't move, the eyes moved, the eyes would go back and forth and would blink, but the mouth didn't move and like that. But it was just so much fun. It was fun to be like, we were kids. We were like, oh, this is so amazing. This is so great. It was. I loved it. I loved it. I remember that distinctly. How cool it was just seeing them like round that corner and coming up the street as they're coming up slowly, and we're like, oh, it was great. It was awesome.
Yeah.
So, Next on your list.
That. Okay, next on my list, and I have to. You know what? In fact, this is just one I just thought about and added. I've got to shout out a Chewbacca meet. I love Chewie. Love Chewie. A Chewbacca hug is the best. Just end of story. He is always so much fun. I was at the media preview for whenever Galaxy's Edge opened.
Right.
Super fun interactions there. And just like across the board, anytime you interact with him in Galaxy's Edge, it's just so good.
That is awesome. That's fun. If only there was a way that the magic would come together and you could have Mary Poppins and Chewbacca in the same frame.
Oh my gosh. I just like,
How great would that be? That'd be amazing. I've actually gone into, and it depends on the character, because I have been at Fairy Tale Hall before and asked Tiana and Cinderella if they would stand close to me if I could get a picture of them, and they were very clear about like, no, we can't mix worlds. We're not mixing worlds.
Right.
So I was like, okay. So number 2, and this is going to more relate to the autism factor. And this is kind of when it gets sentimental. Mm-hmm. I was at the park, actually. This was 2016. I was actually by myself in Epcot. I keep going back to Epcot for some reason. I've met characters everywhere. I keep going to Epcot.
Epcot has good ones.
I love Epcot. So this is when Joy and Sadness were just now meeting people.
Oh, yeah.
They had come out. Joy and Sadness were coming out, and they were just now meeting. And so I was in line to meet them. And this is also the time too when Campbell he was diagnosed at like a year and a half old. So this is 2012 when he was diagnosed, 2013. So we're well into this process. And at the time, he would pick a movie and he would log on to that movie, and that's the movie he would watch for months on end.
Okay.
I've told this before, where I watched Toy Story 2 every single day for about 3 straight months. I watched the first and the third one straight months. Rio, which is now a Disney property, every day for 3 or 4 straight months. Inside Out was one that he would watch over and over and over, and he was just enamored with it because of the color and the music. And just he's a very musical guy. We have different theories on what he thinks and happens whenever he hears music, and so Inside Out's just so musical and colorful. So I was with Joy and Sadness. I was talking to them, and they were just like meeting whatever, and I just simply said, I want to thank you because my son is autistic and he has been enjoying Inside Out, and he is loving the color, he is loving the music, and just he is enamored with it. And I feel like your story in Inside Out, talking to the characters because they're real, your story in Inside Out is something that he really can just pull and relate to. And Joy put her hands up like she was about to cry, and Sadness was like patting me on the shoulder and gave me a little hug or whatever. And then you could just, and I swear I heard one of them go. Like it was almost like, and it was really kind of a very sweet moment with these characters, because I'm letting I'm letting their friends who know these characters know as well, but I'm letting these characters know that you're not just characters in the movie. Your characters mean something to our family. Your characters mean something to us. My child loves you not just because you're cool characters, but because you are helping him develop in his obstacles.
Aww.
And it really was a very sweet moment. It was just me. I wish he'd done there too, but it was just me. And it was a great little moment. Of course, that was also the time I put my arm around Joy to take a picture. And I was like, oh, hey, Joy, just hands moving. Okay, we're good.
Wait, hang on. Wait, we're good.
Ruin that moment. So, yeah, so that's my number 2 most sentimental moment, most favorite character interaction. Your favorite, Jen?
This is, it's hard to say that it's my favorite ever of all, but I think this is the coolest character interaction.
Cool. Sounds good too.
Because on a given day, if I'm meeting this person and meeting Mary Poppins, I'm picking Mary Poppins, right?
Of course,
because she's my fave. But the coolest
Mary Poppins. So.
Right. This was the first and only time I have met this character, and you do not see this character. So this was another Run Disney event, and this was the final Tower of Terror 10 miler. So that was, I want to say 2013. It might have been 2014. I'd have to look it up, but it's right before Hollywood Studios went into all of the refurbishment, because we had Toy Story Land and we had Galaxy's Edge back to back to back. So no longer could we really run through Hollywood Studios. And it was on a back, there's this path between ESPN and I don't remember where we came out after that. And it was the Evil Queen, but it's the Evil Queen as the wicked, as the evil, the witch, the old hag.
Oh, wow.
Not the, beautiful, put together Evil Queen, literally as the bent over old hag with a cauldron, complete with a smoking cauldron. They had the lights on her, because this is an overnight run. The run started at after park close. So this was awesome. Literal, we finished at, I think it was, we finished at 1 a.m. and we went to the after party in Hollywood Studios. I waited in a line for her because
so great.
It was amazing. Just the coolest atmosphere.
Awesome.
It was so cool.
Awesome. So love it. I love that. One of the, I mean, obviously you have to determine how long you're going to wait, but there are characters that come out for special events that you don't see otherwise. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was a big attraction at, at both the Halloween party and the Christmas party. This is the regular version, not the after hours. I don't know what happens at the after hours in terms of characters.
Yeah. Well, I've seen them at the after hours.
But I do know Snow White and Seven Dwarfs would come out and you would be able to get pictures and stuff. And a lot of times we would walk through the parks. We walked through the parks randomly. This is 2 years ago. Friar Tuck and Prince John were walking around the town square.
Fantastic.
Walking around. It wasn't even a line there. We walked up and we were like, Prince John. And there he is with his thumb and everything like that. So he got a picture with Prince John, and it was so random. It was really, really cool. So my favorite, though, and this is a very sentimental moment as well. And I think I may have told the story on the podcast, but whatever. I like to hear myself talk. And so back in, I want to say 2014. This is not long after Campbell was diagnosed. And this is when there was no eye contact. There was no any kind of, I mean, there was some noise there. He would babble a little bit, but some of the signs of autism, there's no babbling, there's no cooing, there's no sounds a baby would make. There's a lot of times silence, a lot of times gazing off, whatever. And so we were meeting Rapunzel. And Rapunzel was one of my favorite princesses, and it was great. So it was Stephanie, myself, and Campbell. She's holding him. He's got a little Mickey Mouse striped outfit on. I've got a picture of it somewhere. It's so cute. And in that same meet and greet, actually, I want to say that two of the princesses both gave him a kiss on the cheek. So we've got a picture where he's got princess lipstick on either cheek. It's the most adorable. He's like 2. And he's been going to parks a long time. So she's holding him. We're talking to Rapunzel. And I'm talking to Rapunzel, and I'm fanboying at him. I'm like, hey, Rapunzel, I love you. I know that's my wife and everything. I love her too, but I like you as well, and so whatever. So Stephanie walks up with Campbell, and she's talking to Rapunzel, and she's like looking at him and everything, and she reaches over his hand. He kind of pulls away. He's just kind of buried. His neck is buried in Stephanie. And so she puts her hands out, white gloved hand. But he reaches his hand out, and he puts it in Rapunzel's hand. And he starts stroking her palm with his fingers very slowly. This is on him. This is not mommy directing him to do this. This is nothing. This is nobody talking. He's just doing it because he's reaching out to her. And she's holding her hand out. And I look at Rapunzel, and I'm like, I just want you to know that he doesn't do this. This is one of the first times he's ever done this with anybody. And Rapunzel's crying. Stephanie is crying. And I'm like, this is pretty cool. This is great. And it was just his head, he was staring at Rapunzel. His head was still in mommy's neck, like kind of buried in there a little bit, kind of comforting, But we have a picture somewhere of his hand on her hand. And all he's doing, he's just kind of stroking her palm with his fingers really lightly, just like getting the feel of her hand. And then he kind of pulls back, and he kind of pulls back in. And I mean, you meet the kid now. He's all over the place. He's all up in your business. He's like, what's on your phone? It just doesn't matter. When he was 1, 2, this was not happening. And so this was such an emotional moment for both of us that we were just like, it was one of the most special moments of magic we've ever had. Because it really is a sense of Disney magic. Yeah. Does that. There is a story, and I'm going to go off the kilter here. There's a story here that I know of, and I completely believe this to be true, of a family who had a nonverbal autistic child, maybe 6 or 7. Stephanie can tell the story more direct, whatever. But they went to Animal Kingdom, and they stayed in Animal Kingdom Lodge. Kid did not talk. At all. Opened up the window to see the zebras and see the elephants and see the tigers and whatever. And began to make animal noises and began to say words.
Oh my gosh.
Didn't talk in sentences, but for the first time in this kid's life, began to say words, staring at the animals there on the savannah in Animal Kingdom. Parents breaking down in happy tears, just crying their eyes out because they've never heard their child speak. And this child is talking while staring at the window at the animals at Animal Kingdom Lodge. Disney's magic, folks. I know that Universal's great, and guess what? Disney has a lot of problems. And we know it. We hear it. Oh my gosh, you got to discern what you believe to be true, and we get that, blah, blah, blah. But there is something about that magic, and there is something about those characters that, hide your kids' ears, it's just characters, there's just costumes, that will still get you. Like, I still get flustered when I meet Rapunzel. I don't know what to say to her.
Right.
I'm chatty to Tiana, and I'm chatty to Snow White. What's up, Mary Poppins? Want you to know my friend Jen loves you, blah, blah, blah. I get to Rapunzel, I'm like, hi, you're pretty. I don't know why. It happens every time. It's not even the same Rapunzel. And I'm the same way every single time.
Right.
So, and I know people that are like that with Jack Sparrow when he used to be him in the
No, I know people who are like that.
All right, so that's a fun little wrap up there for the characters.
So
and everything.
fun.
I love it. So, real quick, Jen, do you have any characters off the top of your head that you've never met that you would be a psychopath to meet? Like, I don't know what I would do. I would do everything I could to possibly meet this character if they were available. There are a handful.
I have also met. So I've met Little John and Friar Tuck. I have never met Robin Hood.
Oh wow!
I have never met Robin Hood, and or Maid Marian. And I would love either of them.
Oh, that'd be so
because
good. She's a fox. Yeah.
She's
a fox.
Yeah. Either of them would be kind of top of the list. Obviously, I've met Chip and Dale, but if we got any of the Rescue Rangers out there, like the other Rescue Rangers.
In the Disney afternoon outfits.
Oh, yes.
Oh my gosh, that would be incredible.
100%. Like I've met Darkwing Duck and that was amazing. But like, again, any Disney afternoon, I would probably freak out.
That would be pretty amazing. My like I have a small list here. I'd love to meet the Muppets. I know one time you actually could. Long time ago. I would love to meet any of the Muppets. Zootopia characters are out and about. They were out at Disneyland.
Oh yeah.
I came close to them. I was in line. I didn't have very much time to go. I had to meet the characters and leave, and they left right before I got to the front of the line. Right before I got to them, they had to go on a break, and I couldn't stay. I was like, back in 45 minutes. I couldn't stay. I had to leave. So Zootopia. I have met Frozone. One of the first times I met Frozone, I also wigged out, and I would love to see Frozone again when you can meet the incredible. My white whale is Meg from Hercules. I would wait in line for 2 hours if I could meet Meg from Hercules. I would, because it's been a lifelong thing. I've never met Meg from Hercules. Never.
Interesting.
And would love to meet Hercules. My honorable mentions of people that I have met. I guess I have one. Is well, two actually. Speaking of Hercules, we did meet. Well, I take that back. We met Meg and Hades in Pain and Panic on the Disney cruise on our honeymoon.
Okay.
The only time I've ever seen those characters. And I don't remember a lot about the interaction, which is why I didn't put it on my list, my initial 5. But they were great. Also, we had
Pain and Panic.
Pain and Panic were great. We also had a great interaction our kid did with Elsa, because for a time we watched Frozen every day. And he had the biggest crush on Elsa.
Aww.
And he would just stare at her. And there's a story where he got out of a stroller, he walked over, grabbed her hand, and tried to walk out with her, like tried to lead her away. So Anna walks over to meet Campbell, and he literally pushes her away, turns his back on Anna. He's like 4 at this time, and goes back to Elsa. Like wanted nothing to do with Anna because she wasn't Elsa. And I've got this wonderful picture that my caption for it is, find you somebody that looks at you the way Campbell Dollar looks at Elsa at this moment. Because he is staring up at her like, you hung the moon. You are the bee's knees. You're the prettiest thing I've ever seen. It's so adorable.
Oh,
and we'll have to post some of these pictures on our Instagram. Any honorable mentions? Anything in characters you didn't get into your list, but that you wanted to mention?
I will just say the on Disney Cruise Line, I love the character interactions there. In general, like I've had some great Pluto interactions.
Right.
Jack Sparrow is super fun on a Disney cruise to meet. And I just find, because it's a more, it's different how the characters work there. I do enjoy that. And I feel like you get a lot of interaction with the characters. So that one definitely meets it. I mentioned earlier, Gaston, he's a super fun meet and greet. Whenever you see him out, and he's been awesome. Yeah, Gaston is like totally great.
He's back.
And
he's back in the parks now.
Right. He's just like a super fun. I don't know if he's scheduled like he used to be, or if it's more hit and miss now, but he's really fun.
Right.
So, and then I guess the last one, and Peter Pan used to show up outside of Peter Pan. I don't know if he still will now, but like he would just like walk through the park, like no handler, just like skipping. I watched him like skip through the park with these little kids. Just like he just walked through. It was like really cool.
We've met Peter Pan and Wendy in one setting, and then right across, maybe 30 feet away, was Dr. Hook and Smee.
Oh, that's cool.
And this is also 607. This is early on.
Like this is early,
and then we walked over and just got Captain Hook and Smee and talked to them, and Captain Hook. We're all just talking about, we don't.
Captain Hook's fun too. I mean, he's a fun.
It's a lot of fun. Okay, so as we end this conversation, real quick, any tips for the park goers about the best places to meet characters? Like not anything specific necessarily, but just where could they go and just find characters?
Yeah, well, I mean, Princess Fairy Tale Hall, of course, is where you're always going to find princesses. All right, Mickey on Main Street. They have that meet in the Chamber. No, not Chamber of Commerce. Yes, Chamber. It's on the right when you walk in the Magic Kingdom. It's the one on the right.
Town Hall or whatever.
Town Hall. There we go. Chamber of Commerce is the left. There we go. We'll get there eventually. Again, character meets are just now back. But previously, especially in the morning, in the hub, lots of characters. Great spot, at least in the past, for you to meet several different characters. And then Fantasyland, the stepsisters, and sometimes the stepmother, but usually the stepsisters would come out. That's a good place to find them. Really good time there as well. And then in Epcot, that one, they move around. Like
they do. Yeah.
They really do move around. But one place is outside of World Showplace, which is where they have like for New Year's Eve, they have stuff in there. They have stuff for food and wine in there, and flower and garden. In the past, when that's not been in use for a festival, I have seen characters congregate there, and that's a fun spot.
It is a fun spot. Yeah, like you said, in front of the parks in Magic Kingdom, in front of the parks, a Hollywood Studio, that big courtyard area in front of the Chinese Theater.
Yes.
You'll walk through there, and we've seen again in the past. Chip and Dale will be here. Donald and Goofy is over there, and over here is another character, and over here is another character. It's like there. Mike and Sully are now back at their house.
Good.
At Monsters Inc. So they're now meeting again. Lightning Lanes are actually open for a lot of the characters. Princess Fairy Tale Hall, meeting Mickey, meeting Tinkerbell, those characters. So if you want to make sure you meet those characters, get a Lightning Lane for
Absolutely.
or wait in line. Character meals are also a great way to ensure you definitely meet those characters. They're harder to come by sometimes. But again, back in the previous day, and I say this now because I think that Cinderella's Royal Table will have the princesses back as it used to be. I think that'll happen. That's a great way to knock all the princesses out. But I see all of them. It's varied. You always get Cinderella, but you never know the other 4 or 5 that are going to be there. I've seen Mary Poppins there. I've seen Alice there. I've seen Jasmine. I've seen Mulan. I've seen a number of princesses that show up there, and you're like, well, where's so-and-so? And she's just not there that day.
Right.
So, yeah, this is a good way to meet the characters as well. So,
it is.
So, yeah, and just walk around the park, keeping your eye out. World Showcase, Germany, a lot of times.
Yeah, good point.
France would have Marie.
France will have Belle.
Yeah, so definitely. Belle, exactly. You won't see Beast out. Beast doesn't come out anymore. It's only in Be Our Guest.
Yeah, I haven't seen him out in a long time. I'm saying I've seen Princess Aurora in France. I've seen Snow White in Germany. And
Max is coming back now with Goofy.
Oh,
Max
good.
has been out more and more. I saw him last time. He was at the parks. Last time I saw him actually was Disneyland at our character breakfast. Saw him a couple of weeks ago at Hollywood Studios. He was behind the rope there, and now he's out and about. So, very cool. One of my favorite characters in the world, of course, is Jenn, as my podcast co-host. Jenn, where can we find you online?
You can find me at Upon a Star Jenn on all the socials, and then my personal Instagram is at Jenn_Novotny. And as you probably know, I post a ton when I'm traveling. When I'm not traveling, it's probably kind of quiet because I'm just catching up from traveling and getting ready to travel again. So, but I will be traveling coming up, so you might want to keep an eye out.
Well, doesn't the agency have some places to find pictures online? Indeed. Where can we find the agency stuff?
You can find at Upon a Star Travel on all of your social medias, including TikTok. So make sure you follow us there. Yep. We have a lot of fun stuff up, for sure.
Yeah, we're posting pictures on there all the time. Videos,
constant videos, yes.
So it's constant content for you guys. Find me on Instagram at @TheMagicOnADollar. I love posting pictures of course, of all the stuff. I've got a ton of pictures from my recent Disney World trip that's leading into my Disneyland trip, in which I'll have a ton of pictures, which will lead into Universal coming up. So I'm hoping to have content for like most of the year, which is awesome. Also find me on Facebook at Magic on $1 and Disney on $1. One's a business page, travel page, and one's just a fun magic page. So please come join me on all those pages. I would love to see you over there and interact and whatever and so on. Of course, Katrina will tell you where to find all the show stuff as well. So yeah, let's get out of here. And Jenn, glad to see you once again. And we'll see you next week back here for episode 102. Hey, don't forget, hug, love on, be careful with, but thank your Phoenicians.
Thank you for listening to the Main Street Electrical Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the MSE Podcast, or visit our website at themsepodcast.com. Be sure to subscribe, and may all your wishes come true.